So a report recently came out saying that Americans are scared to buy an electric vehicle because of the range and the charging. They are scared to have to charge the vehicle. There is not enough public charging stations, or there's not enough time or ability to charge the electric vehicles. And today I'm going to show you why that's kind of dumb. Now, mostly we're going to be focusing on Tesla because it is the best electric vehicle charging experience that you can get. But this applies to any electric vehicle that you're going to buy in the market, at least about 90% of what I'm going to say, because most people are going to do most of their charging at home, but we're going to focus on the driving for right now. Now, at this point in the journey, we've already passed 5 miles, and that may not seem like much, but the average American is driving right around 5 to 4 miles for different activities. A lot of them are not even essential, talking about like the gym or the pharmacy or the library, something like that. And then essential activities like going to the grocery store, taking your kids to school, all of that is going to be covered really within this 5-mile radius. Now, of course, we have to do the averages for Americans, because I don't know exactly what you're doing on the daily, but for me, I've owned Tesla vehicles for almost 7 years now, which is pretty crazy to think about, and I am well above the average for Americans, being that I live very rural. So I'm already at over 6 miles, and there has been nothing that I've passed so far. I haven't passed a gas station or a convenience store or a grocery store or anything like that, and I still have to go quite a while here. So for me today, I will be driving pretty close to 100 miles, and that's not just for this video. That is something that I have to do today in my electric vehicle, and it's never something in the past 7 years that I've had a problem with at any point doing that. I think a lot of people, a lot of Americans just overestimate how much they actually drive or have to drive. Now, these distances we're talking about, if you're say going 4 or 5 miles to different areas, you could do that almost 50 times before you even needed to plug in your car again. Now, here is the article from AAA talking about Americans being scared, basically, of charging electric vehicles. Charging concerns are cited as a challenge for buying electric vehicles. And the point of this entire video, I'm trying to show you that really doesn't make sense in the real world when you actually own an EV and live with it. Now, of course, people are scared of things that they don't understand. So if you've never owned an electric vehicle, you would be scared of this. You know, a big part of owning it is having to fuel it, having to charge it. You're used to fueling your gas car. You've done it your entire life. You've never done this before. And so for that reason, you get scared of it. Now, the title of the article was a bit misleading in that it framed charging as the #1 concern, and it's pretty close, but the actual #1 concern is high battery repair costs. Now, I don't blame people. If you do have to repair your battery, it's going to cost a lot of money. Now, on a Tesla, you get a warranty of 100,000, 120, or up to 150,000 miles and 8 years. So for up to 8 years or 150,000 miles, this is not going to be a concern. So we drop down to the next concern here, which is lack of convenient public charging stations and fear of running out of charge while driving. And as you'll see throughout the rest of this video, fear of running out of charge while driving is pretty silly. Not only do you have plenty of charge to make it anywhere you're going to go, in Teslas, if you get anywhere near running out of charge, the screen is going to flash multiple warnings at you before you can continue. If you park somewhere, a huge pop-up shows up on the screen and says, hey, if you keep driving without plugging in, you are going to run out of charge. It is literally impossible to miss this pop-up as it dims the rest of the screen. And the funniest part about all of this, the people that drive the most, like me, that live rural, those people are most likely going to live in a home. The people that are living in apartments are probably in a city or very close to a city that, #1, they're not going to be driving very far anyway because everything is very close, and #2, has the best charging infrastructure you're going to find. So we're just hitting the 15-mile mark on our journey here, and this is a really special one because this is the average one-way commute distance of an American. I wish my commute had been that short. So a round trip, that's about 30 miles. You could do your commute up to 10 times without ever plugging in. It's pretty interesting. And if you look at the energy we've used so far, 3.8 kilowatt hours. Let's just round that up. This is not even an optimal day. I'm letting the car speed a little bit. It's raining, that uses more energy. We're on the highway. But let's round up. Let's say I've used 4 kilowatt hours. For me, that would cost somewhere around 40 cents to go those 15 miles. That extrapolates out to the full range of this Tesla vehicle right here, being somewhere around $6. Now, a lot goes into that. You can take this 4 kilowatt hour number, times that by the price of your electricity at your home, and you would know about how much it would cost you to go about this same 15-mile distance or so, and then you can play around with those numbers and see what it would cost you to go different distances in an EV that's a similar efficiency to this new Tesla Model Y that I'm driving here. But I used to drive a Ford Focus, decently efficient vehicle. It was very efficient for the time that I had it back then, and I know that 350 miles or so that thing would get on a full tank. Full tank was costing me about $35, so the price difference is massive. And yes, I realize in the past the expensive price in EVs made that not the best thing to hear, like, yeah, you want to make me pay all this money so I can save a few bucks on my gas costs. Well, now, especially with the used EVs in the market that you can get, it is a no-brainer to grab an electric vehicle and spend far, far less than you would on gas on that electricity to power that electric vehicle. Now, I live rural, as I said, so my commute was nowhere near the average. My commute was actually 35 miles one way. So I was driving 70 miles per day. And that was one of the big draws to getting an electric vehicle for me, is not having to stop at the gas station twice a week anymore, and also that savings on gas. I have seen cases where people's gas savings are actually more than the amount that they were spending on their vehicles alone. The numbers can get pretty crazy depending on your exact situation. But we haven't really talked about charging at all. Why is that? There's a reason we haven't talked about charging yet in this video, and it's so funny because I charge my car basically every day. But the thing is, it is so much simpler and takes up less space in your brain than getting gas. You literally just get home, you step out of your car, you spend 1 to 2 seconds plugging the car in, and that's it. You're done. You're not thinking about it. And you are home so often that you can charge your vehicle every single day. Let's say you don't sleep very much at all. You are just always on the go. You're always moving. You sleep 6 hours a night, that 5 hours a night. You only sleep 5 hours a night. With a level 2 charger at your home, you can charge like 30 miles an hour. With just that 5 hours of charging, meaning you get home, plug in, fall asleep in your driveway, immediately wake up exactly 5 hours later and drive away without doing anything else, you can charge like 150 miles. And that doesn't include if you walk inside to use the bathroom or get food or do anything else. Now, of course, most people are sleeping more than that, and most people are spending far more time than that at home than in this example. I'm just trying to get the point across that the charging at home is not a big deal. It is actually one of the best experiences of owning an electric car, which is so funny because people are so scared of it, including myself. Before I owned an EV, I kind of thought the charging would be annoying or take up too much time, but it is so much better than getting gas in pretty much every circumstance. The Home electric vehicle charger can charge pretty much any EV at your home and is the sponsor of this video. It's a 2-part system, a power monitor and a home EV charger. Together, they solve the problem of home charging. The power monitor tracks your home's total energy use in real time, and it talks to the EV charger using wireless technology to make sure you're not pulling too much power from your panel if that's a concern of yours. The has active load management. This is a smart energy management strategy that dynamically adjusts charging to avoid overloading your home's energy system. This means the charger can automatically adjust how much power you're pulling so you never overload your system. No panel upgrades needed. This is a smart and affordable system. If you're installing the charger outdoors, you can prevent unauthorized use with the RFID card or Bluetooth phone key. You can also share access with family members or whoever you want if you want some people to be able to use your charger, but not everybody. If you have solar, it gets even better because the has 3 solar modes. You can charge your electric vehicle with only solar. You can prioritize solar, so you do most of your charging with solar, but if you need a little extra charge, it's not going to wait for all of that solar, or you just do unlimited charging where you plug in and it just charges no matter how much solar is available. This helps you prioritize clean energy and maybe even more importantly, keeping your electric bills low if you are charging your electric vehicle. And of course, everything is controlled through the app. You can schedule charging at night for cheaper rates, monitor real-time energy flow from your solar and the grid, and see your full charging history. It connects over Wi-Fi, both 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, and even has Bluetooth as a backup. If you want a safe, smart, solar-ready home charging setup for your Tesla or any electric vehicle, the is definitely worth checking out. Use that link down in the description to get your exclusive discount, and thank you so much to for sponsoring this video. Now, when talking about home charging, I realize not everybody has access to that, and it's one of the main arguments you'll hear. There are a lot of people in apartments or a lot of people in certain areas that cannot install these chargers in their homes even if they want to. Even if they have the money, whatever, they bought the charger, they cannot install it. And that's true. There are people that cannot charge at home. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. If I couldn't charge where I slept, I don't think an EV would be right for me. Being able to charge at home is a massive advantage in the convenience, although I know that some people exclusively use public chargers for their electric vehicle use and they're happy to do so. Personally, I don't think that would be a great approach for me. Now, while researching for this video, I found that about 70% of people in the US are living in single family homes. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was way less than that. I thought I was going to find half or 60% of people were in apartments because of how much this argument is brought up. So for those 70% of people, having home charging is a valid solution. Even if you are renting your home, you don't have to install any specialized equipment in the house. You don't always have to change the wiring. All homes will have electricity, and you can use a normal NEMA 515 outlet to charge your car. Now, using these standard wall outlets are significantly slower. So again, just like electric vehicles in general, this solution isn't going to be for everybody. But depending on your EV, you will get anywhere from 3 to 6 miles per hour of range added with just a standard wall outlet. For the average, again, the numbers we're looking at for US citizens, 50 miles a day is easily going to be recovered by charging your vehicle overnight on even just a normal NEMA 515. If charging at home is not an option, another great option is being able to charge at work. More and more workplaces are offering EV charging for employees, and some of them even let you charge for free. Imagine taking that $200, $300, $400 you're paying a month in gas and turning it to zero. That is a huge chunk of, or an entire car payment right there. Now we are approaching another very special number, and I love this one because I couldn't believe it. The average distance an American drives total per day. So this is going to work, going to the grocery store, doing all this stuff. Average per day, you take all their days and average them out, throughout the year. 32 miles. That is crazy. That is a lot less than I would have thought, especially since the average commute to work is around 15 miles. That means, of course, most days people are going to work and then coming home. And then every once in a while, they'll go to work, and on the way home from work, they'll stop at the grocery store or get gas, or whatever they do, which adds another mile or two because it's going to be on the way to what they're already doing. That's a crazy number because I was driving, again, like double that daily pretty much in an electric vehicle that everyone has range anxiety about and everyone is scared of charging because they can't charge it. Now, we're at 30 miles just about, and we're around 7 kilowatt hours. So to make the math easy for myself, I'm going to say 7 kilowatt hours. And the average price of electricity in the US, at home, of course, is 16 cents per kilowatt hour as of 2025. That, again, is actually a little less than I would have thought. I would have thought it would have been slightly higher than that. But let's go to 20 cents per kilowatt hour. Let's go more than the average. So most people will be paying less than this. That is going to cost you around $1.60 to go that 30 to 32 miles. That's the average daily driving that an American does. And if you're in a gas car that's getting 30 miles per gallon, so you pay $3 per gallon, you're like 1/3 of the cost to drive the same distance that you are in an EV compared to a gas car. I mean, it is just, the numbers are crazy. And that is the general rule I tell people if they're, thinking about switching from gas to electric. Everybody goes, oh, doesn't your electric bill explode? And go, yeah, of course your electric bill goes up when you're charging an electric car on it. But whatever you pay monthly for gas, take about 1/3 of that number, and that's probably how much your electric bill will go up. So if you're paying $100 a month in gas, your electric bill will probably go up $30, but your gas bill is gone. So now you're kind of saving, or you're spending $70 less per month on your fuel. So again, the numbers they just make sense, don't they? IKEA, the beach, a casino, a concert, going skiing. These are things that are like more medium to long distance ventures, and they can be 50 miles or more. And we're currently almost at the 50 mile mark, about 49 miles right now. And we still have 244 miles of range remaining. Now, I don't normally leave it on the 244 mile thing here. I normally keep it right there on the percentage, so at 74%. And it's just not something, to be honest, I look at pretty much ever. Now, on a road trip, a long distance road trip, I will, of course, be paying much more attention to my range. But on the daily, driving daily, going to work, grocery store, all these things we've been talking about throughout the whole video, I do not care about my range at all. It's not something that I look at or think about really in any capacity. So you're covered for these medium to slightly long distance trips as well. And I'm in a long range Tesla Model Y right now, which gets 320-ish miles of range, actually a little more than that. Not everybody's going to get the long-range version of the vehicles that are available, but most EVs that you're going to be looking at or buying, even used, even with a lot of miles on them, with some battery degradation, are going to be getting well over that 200-mile mark, anywhere from 220, 240, 260 miles of range. And so everything we've talked about, I mean, skiing, a concert, those are things you might do a few times a year, right? But I do gotta talk about the times when you're not actually going to get the full estimated range that Tesla or any other EV manufacturer tells you that you're going to get. Now, I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't tell you about the times your range isn't going to be as good. And this is going to be, for the most part, in the winter when temperatures are extremely cold. Now, this does go the other way as well when temperatures are extremely hot, but right around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit is kind of the optimal temperature for EVs. And on the higher end of temperatures, you're getting up to a little over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for small parts of the day, whereas in the winter, you're getting well below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can stay there all day for weeks at a time. So we're going to focus on the cold aspect. Now, living in Michigan, it gets pretty cold here. No, it is not Antarctica. I'm sure wherever you live gets 50 degrees colder than I've ever experienced in my life. But in my wintertime experience, even on the coldest days, getting down to about negative 20 Fahrenheit, my electric vehicle range will drop around 30%. Now, this can be worse. If I'm on the highway going 80 miles per hour in the middle of a blizzard, it's super windy, there's snow everywhere, and it's negative 20 out, yeah, my range could potentially drop up to 50%. But in normal cold weather driving, my typical range decrease that I'm seeing is anywhere from 15 to 30% of range loss. Now, gas cars do also lose range in the winter. It's not quite as extreme as an electric vehicle, and the fact that you can stop at a gas station and fill it up in 5 minutes really mitigates this fact, so people don't think about it or care so much. But the fact is, gas cars do also lose range in these extreme environments. But again, the benefit of having the electric vehicle is getting home or getting to work, plugging in and charging and being full again by the time you go on your next adventure. That is never going to happen with a gas car. So after all that, a few miles of driving, going into the city, stopping at Target, and then stopping at the post office, I'm back home. Drove over 70 miles, not quite the 100 I thought we were going to do today, but I still have over 200 miles of range, well over 200 miles of range left. I'm home and I just plug in. I mean, it's that simple. It took me 1 second. I don't have to stop anywhere else to fuel up. So if you do have this option of home charging, it is a far better experience than you'll ever get with gas.